The Russian Defense Ministry has released footage of an alleged incident with a British destroyer in the Black Sea on Wednesday.
According to Russia, one of its warships in the Black Sea fired warning shots and a warplane dropped bombs to force the British destroyer out of an area near Crimea that Moscow claims as its territorial waters. However, Britain denied that account and insisted its ship was not fired upon.
It was the first time since the Cold War that Moscow acknowledged using live ammunition to deter a NATO warship, reflecting the growing risk of military incidents amid soaring tensions between Russia and the West. The Russian Defense Ministry said a patrol ship fired warning shots after the HMS Defender had ignored a notice against intrusions and sailed 3 kilometers into Russia's territorial waters near Sevastopol, the main Russian naval base in Crimea. It said the Russian Su-24 bomber also dropped 4 bombs ahead of the vessel to persuade the Defender to change course. Minutes later, the Defender left Russian waters.
Квалифицируем это как грубую британскую провокацию, которая идет вразрез с международным правом и российским законодательством. Также хотела бы сообщить, что в Министерство иностранных дел нашей страны будет вызван британский посол.
Россия звездой героя.
Значительно возросла активность военно-морских сил НАТО у наших границ. Практически на постоянной основе в Черном и Балтийском морях действуют корабли, оснащенные высокоточным оружием большой дальности. Выполняются полеты самолетов разведывательной, патрульной и ударной авиации, а также беспилотных летательных аппаратов. Действия кораблей США и их союзников носят явно провокационный характер.
Britain's Ministry of Defense denied the Defender had been fired on or was in Russian waters, but had been in Ukrainian waters.
What I can say is the Russians recently made a claim about, I think, HMS Dragon and her her use of the route a few months ago, claiming that she'd been chased out, which was factually untrue as well. So, I mean, these are the things that come and go with Russia. Disinformation, misinformation is something that we have seen regularly. We're not surprised by it. We plan for it. And we take all steps to make sure that we are not escalatory or indeed provocative. However, we will not shy away from upholding international law and our rights on the sea.
The former head of British Army, Lord Richard Dennett, said an incident Wednesday between Russian and British warships in the Black Sea was a test on the will of the West by Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Well, I think we have to see it as part of a wider, I don't really like to use the term sort of power game, but it is actually something along those lines. Mr. Putin testing the will of the West, and the West demonstrating it's got a rather increased resolve. I think it's fair to say that over the last 10 years, the response in many ways has been pretty limp. The United States, which is the traditional leader of the West, has had a fairly inward-looking approach, certainly during the Trump period, and during the Obama period. Again, he was not keen to get overly involved in international affairs. So what we're now seeing, probably post the G7 summit, is the West acting in a rather more cohesive fashion and actually saying to people like Mr. Putin, and probably when the Naval Task Group gets out to the South China Sea, saying to the Chinese as well, look, don't push us around. There are international laws. There's international laws of the sea. We have a right to be in certain places, and we're going to be there. So test us if you like, but we are going to show more resolve than we have perhaps in the past.
Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014, a move not recognized by most countries gaining access to its long Black Sea coast. Russia has chafed at NATO warships visiting near Crimea as destabilizing. In April, it declared a broader area of Crimea closed to foreign naval ships.